Okay, call the meeting back to order, folks. Hello, thank you. So we're out of executive session. Information was gathered and no votes taken. We're back to the invocation by Councilmember Howard.
I just want to recognize, when I read this, the death of Pope Francis, so I chose the Peace Prayer by St. Francis of Assisi. Lord, make us the instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let us sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to be console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. It is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so Mayor's comments tonight. We have a long list of upcoming events, thanks to Heather's hard work. This Thursday is Chris Crosby Group will be performing in the Folly River Park, 6 to 8. Next Thursday, the 22nd, 6 to 7, have Dr. Eric Lappin of Clemson University giving a talk at the Community Center, the history of jazz in Charleston. You need to RSVP to Heather, and all these are on the website, by the way. Tuesday, May the 27th is 6 to 7 p.m. MUSC will lead a community art therapy event at the Community Center. Thursday, June the 5th at 11 a.m., Community Center, 2 exercise teachers teaching classes, 9 to 11. And on Wednesday, 2 to 4 p.m. Let's see. And once a month, restorative yoga will also occur May the 28th and June the 4th at 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. at the Community Center. Thursday, June the 5th, 5 to 7, Folly River Park, first of season family fun nights. And it's a water fun night with food by the Civic Club, Exchange Club, and Anglers. Popsicles and a lively DJ will also be there. Sounds like a good fun night. Thursday, June the 12th, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. At the Community Center, you will learn how to eat a healthy lunch and learn about healthy eating. And save the dates, June the 26th, 6 to 8 p.m. Family Fun Movie Night, and July the 3rd, 6 to 8 p.m. is Family Fun Concert Night. So look on the website, get your calendar out, mark them up. Heather always has a great thing going, and thank you. Staff reports. Jenna, you're up.
So about 6 months ago at a council meeting, the mayor appointed 2 residents who live on Red Sunset and Councilmember Bazell and staff to meet about the issues of where the road lies, Red Sunset Lane. When it was built, this is just a quick reminder for everybody what we're talking about. When it was constructed, it did not fall under the platted right-of-way that the city owns. And so this is causing problems such as parking enforcement, because the road goes over private property. And so the people who are doing the parking enforcement sometimes don't have clarification of whether they're on public property or not and whether they can enforce these tickets. And so we met with these residents to talk about the options that you have in front of you on this memo. These are the same ones that were in Aaron's report 6 months ago, and we'll go through them briefly. This is not an exhaustive list. This is just some options of how to address this issue. One would be the city could abandon the right-of-way and give the owners the road, and it would become a private road for them to maintain and to enforce any parking issues on the road. The city could relocate where the road is now, move it over to where it should be in that platted right-of-way. That is marsh, and so that would include having to construct a bridge. It would be about 250 feet of bridge through the critical area to align the road where it's platted to be. Another option would be to update the easements so that the city has explicit permission to write tickets to enforce the parking on where the road is now. And then another option would be to condemn the easements and convert them to public property so that the city has the authority to do this. We met with the residents who wanted to look into, and I want to make clear this is all informative tonight. We've heard from people since then, other members of, and I think some of y'all have too, other members, other owners on Red Sunset Lane. The option that was discussed at these meetings was to move the road into that platted right-of-way and to build a bridge. So we got an estimate from an engineer that we work with there, and to engineer the drawings, get permits, construct, all the way through, it would be between $3.2 million and $4 million would be to add that new road. And so this is here today just to inform y'all that we got that estimate back. So nothing is being proposed at this time.
Any questions for Ms. Stevens? Thank you. Chief Gilreath, you're up next.
So this information is for you guys, but it's also for everybody listening in the crowd or online. So we've had some questions lately about the best way to get emergency services should you need it. There was a concerted effort to tie our CAD, our computer-aided dispatch, in with Charleston County. I think it was last year's budget process. So the best and quickest way for you to go to hold of emergency services in a true emergency is 911. That's common throughout the country. It's common for obviously our visitors. The key to that is the way Charleston County answers the 911 calls is when you call 911, they're going to ask you a series of questions based on the type of emergency that you're reporting. Now, simultaneously to the person asking you the questions, they're putting the answers into a computer system. There's a dispatcher that literally at the exact same time is dispatching the ambulance, the fire trucks, the police cars, whatever it is you need. So you know when you're on the phone and you get frustrated because you're having to answer questions, it's literally to help us as we show up. It's to help the ambulance as they show up, because we get all of that information real time in the computers that are in the cars, fire trucks, ambulances. So it may seem like the questions are dragging out the help coming. That is absolutely not the case. The minute you say, I need help at 123 Smith Street, we're rolling, right? It's just the questions are helping give us perspective as we come, so we know what we need to bring into the scene, whether it be some kind of medical equipment or police equipment or whatever it may be. And I just wanted to clarify that, because I know, and the mayor might give his example the other day, that he had while he was out and about. But again, if there's any questions whatsoever, please, please, please reach out to me. I'm happy to sit down and show you exactly how it works if it's any concern to you. But it's very important for us to get those ambulances there that have that advanced life care capability. You know, it's our job to stabilize you until they get here and get you to the hospital. The sooner all that happens, the better. And the way that happens is by calling 911. So
Talk about the location, cell phone location.
Yeah, it's obviously a good idea to know your location. We've tried to do things around town, especially on the beachfront, of putting out signs to let somebody know that if they're out there, they're not just looking at landmarks, they can look at the signs and see what block they're in. But if you're in a situation and you just absolutely don't know where you are, you can tell the dispatcher that, or the call taker that. And there's apps called Rapid SOS, and what they can do is send you a text message on your phone, and when you hit accept, it gives us your real-time location. So if you're in a bad situation and you're just not sure where you are, there, that we can find you that way in a quick situation. And we have that capability both in our dispatch and also counties. Obviously, in run-of-the-mill type calls, you just need us to come out, there's a noise complaint, something like that, please don't use 911. But you can use our non-emergency line for that. And again, you can play it back if you want, but 843-588-7003 or 2433, either one of those numbers gets our dispatch in a non-emergency status or capability. But again, in a bad situation, you need help quickly, please call 911.
So what he alluded to me the other day, was brought part of this conversation on, was in church, we had a medical call. I didn't have a cell phone, but another person did, so I'm using their cell phone. Of course, I know they're gonna ask me 47 questions, so I'm not getting excited about questions being asked, like some of the people around me. I'm answering questions, they go, we need help, help's coming in. So before I could get through answering all the questions, we had help there, real quick. Real time, probably 2 minutes. But to know that you're gonna be answering these questions is very important. And of course, the first question they're gonna ask you is, what's your location? Because if you don't know where you are, or they don't know where you are, they can't help you. And the next question they're gonna ask is, what phone number are you calling from? In case you get disconnected, they can call you back. Well, I didn't know the phone number, so I had to chase Sam down to get the phone number.
That's
But
my wife, by the way, it's not me, sorry.
yeah, Skip, his wife's name's Sam. But anyway, so today when I was talking about that, that's when he told me about the real-time location that I had no idea of. So, that is very important. If you don't know where you are, just say, hey, I don't know where I'm at. They're gonna send you information, you hit that button and they'll tell you where you are. And they know where you are immediately. So just remember, when you call 911, don't get excited. They know you got an emergency. You need to tell them where you are, and they're gonna ask you 47 questions while you're on the phone, and answer them to the best of your ability. Just don't get excited. It's hard to say don't get excited, because when mom falls down, if you think she's busted her head open, it's hard not to get excited, but, just try to stay calm and answer the questions.
Yeah. Sound good?
Thanks.
Yep.
So we're moving right along, have a motion to approve the agenda,
So moved.
have a second?
Second.
Without objection. Approval of the minutes from April the 8th, a motion to approve,
So moved.
have a second?
Second.
Any additions or corrections? Hearing none, Mr. Pope, you're up.
Mr. Fink?
Yes.
Mr. Ritt, I'm sorry. Mr. Grooms?
Yes.
Mr. Farley?
Yes.
Dr. Houghton?
Yes.
Mr. Gazelle?
Yeah.
Mayor Goodwin?
Yeah.
Passes.
Personal appearances, a log pile serve contest. Once again.
Once again. All right. Hey everybody, my name is Ronan Lurkin. I'm here as director of the Folly Beach Log Pile Surf Contest. This will be our second installment of the log pile.
Give us your address just for the record.
My address is 3700 Hartnett Boulevard, Isle of Home, South Carolina. So this will be the second installment of the log pile, and after our incredible turnout and support we saw at the last event, I'm excited to propose some improvements that will make it an even better event this year. The previous contest was a huge success, bringing together surfers, businesses, and spectators in a way that celebrated this Folly surfing community. We had strong local participation with around 100 surfers competing, and had an amazing response from the competitors and the public. This time around, I'm proposing we shift the event to the location of 110 West, the beach access adjacent to the Folly Tides Hotel. The reason we want to do this is just because the waves near the pier are much more suitable for longboarding, cleaner, friendlier, and a little bit more consistent. So this would just create a better competitive experience. Also, moving closer to the center of town will give spectators and competitors a little bit more access to amenities, coffee shops, restrooms, restaurants, and parking. So it's just a move that makes sense for the contest and for the Folly Beach businesses that will benefit from increased foot traffic. I'm proposing the event will be run on October 3rd through the 5th, with preliminary rounds on the 3rd and 4th, and then finals day on the 5th. We'd be expecting around 100 competitors again, and then around 300 attendees throughout the weekend. This will once again bring off-season business to Folly, people paying for parking, grabbing coffee, drinks and sandwiches at Burt's, and that kind of stuff. Operationally, we're keeping things pretty streamlined. We've coordinated with insurance providers to meet city requirements. A trained safety team, including former firefighters, EMTs, and lifeguards, will be on site all times from 6 a.m. setup to 6 p.m. teardown. We'll strongly emphasize safe driving on the island. I know that's always a pretty big concern, speeding and stuff like that. And definitely post-event cleanup efforts throughout through our social media to keep the beaches clean. We won't require any reserved parking from the town or resources from the town as well, beyond emergency response cooperation if something like that happens. No vendors will be selling products on the beach, and we've submitted both a risk assessment and emergency action plan to the council as well. My goal remains the same, to create a fun, community-driven event that highlights the talented Folly Beach surfing community over the years, and at the end of the day, I'm here to make sure it runs smoothly and becomes something our town can continue to enjoy for years to come. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Now questions?
Location,
Yes, sir.
because you have to be, what, 100 yards from the pier to surf? I noticed you're on first block. Do you see people moving that close? Because it is my big concern, and even in October, they'll still be swimming.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a no surfing swim area. So I would recommend that we move it where you had it last year at the washout. Is that what it was? And just keep it at that location.
That's what the Special Events Committee recommended. I think they said they had concerns with it, and even in October, I mean, parking's a premium at Center and Arctic, and seems to be better suited to have more parking available at the washout and not congest the downtown business district. There's two-hour limit on parking on Center Street, is it not?
Well, remember too, in October, Center Street's gonna be a mess.
Incapacity, yeah.
I would agree with Mr. Grooms that I think this event would be better off at the washout this year.
Yeah.
I agree.
Especially with the construction, yes.
Can you make it happen at the washout?
I can make it happen.
So it looks like it's gonna be at the washout.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Call it on.
Yeah.
So to approve the log pile surf contest at the washout, Mr. Brazil,
Yes.
Dr. Houghton,
Yes.
Mr. Farley. Yes. Mr. Fink,
Yes.
Mr. Broom.
Yes.
Mayor Goodwin.
Yeah.
Passes.
Okay, Mr. McFarland.
I'm John McFarland. I reside at 1780 Chelwood Circle in Charleston. Tonight, I am addressing you in my capacity as the president of the Folly Beach Community Foundation. Briefing this council seems like the proper way to introduce a charity of this type to you and the general public. In its simplest form, a community foundation is a 501c3 charity that receives donations from the public and returns the money to the community in the form of grants. There are over 900 community foundations in the United States. Most have millions of dollars of assets, but the smaller foundations may manage as little as $100,000. In 1974, Charleston's Community Foundation was started with $9,000. Today, it manages over $480 million of assets and gives away millions of dollars every year. Hilton Head started its community foundation in 1994. Our community foundation was started 2 months ago by two residents, Kyle James and Kevin O'Connell, and myself, with donations of over $50,000. Folly's Community Foundation is a local organization created exclusively to benefit the Folly Beach community. Money donated here stays here. The foundation will begin its annual grant program for community organizations in 2 weeks. We will grant a total of $10,000 with a maximum grant amount of $1,000 to each group. We wish it could be more and expect that in 2026, our grant program will be larger. What do we consider a community organization? pretty much any Folly Beach nonprofit would be able to apply for the grant. Eligible organizations can be large or small, incorporated or not, IRS approved or not. In addition, government entities and religious organizations based on Folly will also be eligible to apply, which is typical for foundations. For instance, the Baptist Church is eligible to apply to help support its free soup kitchen program, and the Catholic Church for its blessing box program, which is behind the church. The grant can be used to support an existing program, to buy a piece of equipment, or to start a new program that's been on the back burner. In addition, if a person has an idea for a completely new nonprofit, they can request a grant for seed money. The grant application can be downloaded from our website on June 1st, and the deadline for submitting proposals is July 31st. That's 2 months to complete a simple 2-page application. Our foundation is unique in 2 ways. First, very few cities the size of Folly Beach has a community foundation. And second, most community foundations only give money to IRS-approved nonprofits. We welcome and encourage small, unincorporated nonprofits like the Garden Club and others to apply. Offering financial support to Folly's community organizations, especially the smaller ones, is a no-brainer for our group. But the foundation's greatest promise lies in its ability to fund new programs and services as this community continues to grow and prosper. I'd like to end with 2 requests. And no, I'm not asking this council or anyone else for any money. I am asking you to follow our progress on Facebook or Instagram or sign up on our newsletter. And we need a few volunteers to help us direct foundation funds. And we're asking everyone to consider volunteering to be on one of our committees, whether it's the steering committee or the grant selection committee. What better task than to give away somebody else's money? Our first newsletter, just like this one, should be in your postal box tomorrow. It contains most of the information that I've covered tonight, and I'd like to thank you and be happy to answer any questions you have about the foundation.
What is the website? Do you have the website?
The website is listed on the paper.
Okay.
It's Folly communityfoundation.org, and it should be functioning, and I would say if it is not functioning, it will be by tomorrow morning. But it's supposed to be working now. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, citizen comments? We got one first.
No, go for it, go ahead. I know my shoes are squeaking and I really did pay for them. But I don't know why they're squeaking. I'm Regina Anderson. I live at 1016 West Ashley Avenue here in Folly Beach and love it there. But I'm here as chair of the Folly Beach Historical Society, which you're going to be considering in a few minutes. Last month, y'all postponed the transfer of the rest of the reserve funds from the city to the Historical Society, and I just wanted to make sure that you got the answers to the questions that you had and be here in case you had any others that you wanted to have answered. And I also wanted to give you a brief update on what we're doing. We're currently researching the best ways to display our artifacts and have versatile exhibits that we hope to change every several months, maybe 2 a year, maybe 3 a year. But the idea behind that is that if we just had one static exhibit, it would be fun for the residents for once, and then just tourists. But what we want is if we have a different time, and we can't get very deep into the topic, so if we have rotating exhibits, we can have an event every time we open a new exhibit, and the residents of Folly will be there, as well as the tourists that will come all the time, we hope. Anyway, we're also collecting lots of new stuff. I get calls almost every day, and we're updating our website. Hope you all keep looking at that. We're continuing to do Folly stories that we can put on our online, and they will also be in a listening viewing station in the museum when we hope that it opens probably sometime in the summer is what we're looking for. We're also amping up our fundraising. I even have a list of sponsorships and a self-addressed envelope if anybody wants one to become a sponsor. The sponsorships start at like $250, and our founding benefactors are donating $5,000. And I will tell you that right up till now, we do have 20 sponsors across that list, which we think is just fantastic. We're not close to what we need for this year and next year. I'd like to have 2 years, to be safe, but we're working on it. And lastly, I just want to thank Mayor Goodwin, Council, especially Catherine, for really being tenaciously dogged in getting this vision into reality, because it's been a long time coming. It's been years, and a lot of people have worked on it, and it's just so exciting to see it come to fruition. Any questions? Thank you.
I thought the squeak was your new knee.
No, I put W before you.
Okay.
Good evening. I'm J.D. McAllister, 1715 East Ashley. I want to just make a couple of 3 comments about seawalls. Y'all have a second reading tonight on the seawall ordinance, and it's certainly a step in the right direction, pulling back from the so-called PEL, or perpetual easement line. But I would like y'all to seriously think about the history and why you might ought to take another approach to seawalls. 1987, the city achieved, through an agreement with the Corps, renourishment funds. The Corps agreed that they were 57% responsible for the erosion on Folly, and therefore would pay 85% of the cost of renourishment. That was a victory. Following year, 1988, the state passed the Beachfront Management Act. And basically what it said is that beach is public. And beach is from the low water mark, the low tide mark, to the high tide mark, that intertidal hard beach. And that's what's going to be protected. And that's really at the heart of the current lawsuit with the Isle of Palms landowner that's suing about his seawall. It's also part of the avulsion lawsuit that the city has against the state right now. So Folly went to work, and politically, by 1990, got an amendment. And that amendment exempted Folly from certain aspects of the Beach Management Act. But that exception is very narrow. 48-39-300 said that Folly qualifies to be, quote, exempt from the provisions of section 48-39-290 relating to reconstruction and removal of erosion control devices fronting the Atlantic Ocean. And then that law says erosion control devices exempt under this section must not be constructed seaward of their existing location, increased in dimension, or rebuilt out of materials different from that of the original structure. I would like the city to seriously look at what your legal authority is with seawalls, and hopefully make your ordinances comply with that. Thank you.
Keith? Any other?
Hi, I'm Dave Miller, 19 Red Sunset Lane, and right now I'm wearing my blood banking hat. Here to remind you of our upcoming quarterly blood drive, June 18th, Wednesday, from 9 till 2 at Father Kelly Hall. We have a number of people who have already signed up, but we still have some openings. I see some people here in the council, in the audience, city members who have signed up, but we still have some available spaces. The need for blood never ends. I spent over 40 years in transfusion medicine, and many days before I'd go home, I'd check that blood bank refrigerator and say, doggone, I hope we make it till tomorrow. So we need it. The blood we need tomorrow needs to be donated last week. So donate for us and keep the blood banks full. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, and I'll leave some cards back here. If you want to donate, you can go to the redcrossblood.org and search on Folly, sponsor code Folly. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I'll just say a sentence. Darlene Rawls, 5 Red, we have half our town, our road over here. Jenna met with us, it was great, but as y'all know better than I do, when you have meetings and then you talk to your neighbors and you start talking about everything, we have lots of ideas. What I would request, I understand the bridge is crazily expensive, is that this is a long time coming, since 1946, the way the road was platted out, that we take our time and get the right answer. Because when we've talked to our neighbors, we all have different issues. Mine personally is I want the fire truck to get to me. And the fireman, when we were in the meeting, he said, well, if there's a car in the way, I will make it happen. So that made me feel good, and that's kind of my attitude, so I felt very good about that. But we do need to be thoughtful. Each neighbor on the road has a different issue. We have new neighbors. We have neighbors that haven't even slept in their houses yet. So we do need to take some time and think through it. But it would be nice if we had all the conversation, because we only, we need to make it right, because we were house number 4 and now there's 19 houses and the road hasn't gotten any bigger, any higher, and the trash cans are overflowing. And that's it.
Anybody else? Okay. We're moving on to no boards and commission reports this evening. Old business, ordinance 03-25. It's the second reading, ordinance amending Folly Beach Code of Ordinances to repeal section 151.23. Construction standards for berms, bulkheads, riprap, seawalls, revetment, retaining walls within 15 feet of the critical line, and create a new section, construction standards for erosion and flood control devices. Have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. Poe?
Mr. Brazel?
Yes.
Mr. Grooms? Yes. Dr. Houghton?
Yes.
Mr. Fink?
Yes.
Mr. Farley?
Yes.
Mayor Goodwin?
Yeah.
Passes second.
Okay. Ordinance 005-25, second reading, ordinance amending the Folly Beach Code of Ordinances, Chapter 117, short-term rentals. With some cleanup language in here. Second reading, have a motion for approval.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All right, Mr. Poe.
Dr. Houghton?
Yes.
Mr. Farley?
Yes.
Mr. Brazel?
Yes.
Mr. Fink?
Yes.
Mr. Grooms?
Yes.
Mayor Goodwin?
Yeah.
Passes second.
Resolution 12-25, a resolution by Folly Beach City Council authorizing the distribution of remaining $13,000 held in history reserve account to Folly Beach Historical Society to be used for the upfitting of the new History Museum and curation of exhibits.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
any questions or comments? Mr. Pope?
Mr. Farley?
Yes.
Mr. Grooms?
Yes.
Mr. Brazel?
Yes.
Dr. Houghton?
Yes.
Mr. Fink?
Yes.
Mayor Goodwin?
Yep.
Passes.
So, in the new business, first thing up is boards and commission appointments, Parks and Recreation. We have 4 openings from the general public. You gonna do this like you always do it?
Yes, sir. I'll
So-
call,
Go ahead. You
I'll
tell
call
them.
out each councilman, and if you'll give me 4 names from the list. Mr. Grooms?
Horton, Morganello, Chambra? Is that correct?
Siam.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect. And Parler.
Mr. Fink?
Horton, Morgagello, Siambra, and Parler.
Mr. Farley?
Same.
Dr. Houghton?
Same.
Mr. Brazel?
Horton, Morganello, Siembra, and Parlor.
Very good then.
Just unanimous and stuff.
So, Mr. Horton, Ms. Marmanello, Ms. Siambra, and Mr. Parler.
I would like to say thank you for Ms. Whiting and Ms. Savage. And don't be discouraged if you didn't get picked this time, but there's other processes happening and other boards and commissions to be filled. Get in touch with your council folks and say, and my responsible employee, Mr. Graham, and say, I'm really interested in the job, and this is where I'm really interested in some jobs, and I'm sure there'll be a job for you to do, and the pay is great.
Free coffee at Burt's.
Maybe. Okay, so, let me turn over to my proclamation here somewhere. So every year, we work hand in hand with the Coast Guard for a Safe Boating Week proclamation and hopefully safe boating season. Safe Boating Week this year is May 17th through the 23rd. And, you know, you think about safe boating around here, the Coast Guard estimates that human error, no doubt, accounts for most, if not all, boating accidents. Usually it's not the boat. Life jackets could prevent 75% of boating fatalities. And, you know, basic boating safety procedures, carrying life jackets and wearing them. Distress and communications equipment, even if you have a small boat, it's not required by DNR to have distress signals or communication equipment. You really need something, because you never know when you're gonna fall out of that boat. Trust me, you never know. Or when you're gonna have your hand sitting somewhere on a boat and all of a sudden the end of your fingers disappear because that's been jammed into the bridge or something else. And that happened right here last year at the boat landing while they were waiting to get on the boat landing. So, you know, things happen on the water, no matter what. Attending safe boating courses, that's always good. Participating in Coast Guard's free boat inspection for you, boat safety inspection. And most of all, the Coast Guard says, staying sober while you're navigating a boat really helps a lot. I know everybody laughs, but how many times have you read where somebody crashed into a dock and there was a fatality, and the reason was because alcohol was involved? So, you know, we think about that. I think about the safe boating courses because I don't know how many times I've been to a boat landing in my 60-some years of career messing with boats and watch people pull up in a boat landing, and you instinctively know they just came from the dealership. And they pulled a book out to see how to crank it up. Now, you know they're in trouble most of the time. So, you know, those safe boating courses are really worth their time. Coast Guard tells us about 650 people die each year in boat-related accidents, and 75% of those fatalities are people drowning. Nobody that's not a good swimmer ever drowned, I don't think. Because if you know you're not a good swimmer, you're not gonna get in the water most of the time. But you never know when you're gonna get in the water by accident. So you never know. So, wear your life jackets. Think about some safety boating courses, safety equipment checks in the week of May 17th through the 23rd of May, and right on through the rest of the year. Thank you. Now we move on to ordinance 006-25, ordinance amending the Folly Beach Code of Ordinances, Chapter 72, parking regulations to amend the requirements for issuing a parking citation, to allow the issuance of a parking citation by code enforcement officers, to withhold all revenue from parking citations from any parking contractor, and to allow the delegation of non-discretionary functions related to parking enforcement and paid parking only. This is the first reading. Do I have a motion to approve?
So,
Do I have a second?
second.
Any questions or comments?
Where was it?
34, is that in here?
72.16B.
Now,
Sorry.
72.16E is the one you're looking for.
Make an amendment to change 12 hours, the allowable time, to 24 hours of issuing it. So a person who issues a parking citation shall be authorized to cancel the citation within 24 instead of 12 hours of issuing the citation. Amendment.
Okay. Have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments?
On
Mr.
the-
Pope on the amendment.
Sir. Mr. Farley?
Yes.
Mr. Fink?
Yes.
Dr. Houghton?
Yes.
Mr. Grooms?
Yes.
Mr. Brazil?
Yes.
Mayor Goodwin?
Yes.
Amendment passes.
Any other amendments, corrections, additions? Okay, on the ordinance as amended.
Dr. Houghton?
Yes.
Mr. Brazil?
Yes.
Mr. Grooms?
Yes.
Mr. Fink?
Yes.
Mr. Farley?
Yes.
Mayor Goodwin?
Yes.
Passes first as amended.
Ordinance 007-25, ordinance amending the Folly Beach Code of Ordinances, section 7202, to end approvals of protected residential parking in the right-of-way and grandfather protected parking approved prior to December 31st, 2023, in compliance with requirements established by the South Carolina Department of Transportation. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Any questions?
Just a comment, like I said before at the work session, in case people weren't at the work session, DOT was making us make these changes, as well as they made us do away with the residents parking for free on the side of the road on the right-of-way. This is not I had one resident who thought we traded 3 blocks of paid parking in lieu of giving away citizen rights. These rights, DOT said had to go. We didn't have a choice in that, so it wasn't a trade we made by giving away residents' rights for 3 blocks of parking. This was DOT saying we didn't have the authority to extend those rights to our citizens. So our hands were pretty well tied on this. That's all.
Yeah, but I would say this, we got away with it for a long time. So, you know, we did good for a long time without asking, so.
It was a good run.
They wasn't giving us forgiveness.
Good run.
Mr. Poe.
Mr. Brazil?
Yes.
Mr. Fink?
Yes.
Dr. Houghton?
Yes.
Mr. Grooms?
Yes.
Farley?
Yes.
Mayor Goodwin?
Yeah.
Passes first.
Okay, down to resolution 14-25, a resolution by Folly Beach City Council approving the continuance of health insurance premium payments in the aggregate total amount of $14,219.28 for survivor benefits, Major Brandon Upton through the South Carolina Public Employee Benefit Authority. Have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have a second? Okay. Any questions, comments? Mr. Poe.
Mr. Grooms? Yes. Mr. Brazil?
Yes.
Mr. Farley?
Yes.
Dr. Houghton?
Yes.
Mr. Fink?
Yes.
Mayor Goodwin?
Yeah.
Passes.
Okay, Mr. Grooms, you want to start?
Sure. Earth Day, this past few weeks ago, Heather and Jenna put together a wonderful thing at the city park, in which we gave away a great deal of plants, truckload I believe it was, and some seeds, ran out. So we've had a little money left over from discretionary funds. We bought some more seeds and we have more coming in. But monarchs need your help. These are native milkweeds that are free to anybody who comes by City Hall. They'll have them at the front desk, so come by and pick up your seeds. They are also available tonight. So make sure you see Jenna, who's, right over there, and get your packets of seeds. Take care of the monarchs.
Mr. Fink?
Yes, sir. I'd like to, out of my discretionary funds, I had previously given to the Let's Walk group, which is a wonderful senior support group. I'd like to distribute the remaining funds I have for this fiscal year to $300 to the History Museum, $200 to the Warrior Surf Foundation. If you're not familiar with WSF, this is founded on Folly Beach. This assists transition of veterans who have traumatic brain injuries or have suffered PTSD, It's their ability to go through yoga, go through surfing, as well as other therapy organizational things. I've had the privilege of serving on their board, and I'll tell you, it's a well-run foundation, and it's worth it, and I'm proud to give. I'm also going to, the remainder of my discretionary funds, I'd like to give to pet helpers. They provide a service that we don't have on staff here in terms of pet assistance and animal assistance. I'd also like to mention that I had asked the mayor in conjunction with Councilman Bazell if we couldn't pursue further information about senior transportation or transportation availability to the island for folks that are not able to get around or don't have friends and family to take them places, and they have appointments and things of that nature. We are pursuing all the options. Wes is going to be the staff rep, and I'll lead the council's efforts. And we're going to pursue all the options with CARTA. We're also looking at grant funds that are now available from the federal government that allow us an opportunity to start pilot programs that they will fully fund, potentially to use private vendors. Maybe it's Lyft or something like that. So we're looking at the possibility of even doing RFQs or discussing RFPs with them to see if we can't expand our services out here on the island for those that aren't able to get downtown for those important meetings that they may have with doctors, et cetera. And I also want to reiterate what the mayor said about all the community activities that are going on. Heather has done an incredible job. If you're not following it on the website, follow it on your Sandspur. There's a whole page in there where she lists by date everything that's going on as far as 6 and 8 weeks out. They've been wonderful activities in the Folly River Park. We have things in the library and the rec center, and again, I'd like to thank Heather for all you're doing for the residents and the visitors and anybody that's out here. You're just doing a terrific job with that. And other than that, stay safe and happy summer almost.
In keeping with the discretionary funds, I've asked Mr. Graham to purchase a pedestrian sign for Center Street and Indian for safety at church events. I discussed it with Chief Gilreath, and he's approved it. $200 to pet helpers, and the remaining money to be split between the Catholic, Methodist, and Baptist churches to continue their works of charity on the island.
Good.
I only have one comment, which I know is surprising. So, Let's Walk. I would like to just say that my remaining discretionary fund of $200 is to recognize the volunteers and the citizens that benefit from Let's Walk. And Lynn is the executive director and founder. And I know that folks are really curious how they can sign up, donate, and participate. So Lynn is in the back of the room.
Thank you so much for sharing your discretionary funds with us. It matters a lot. I just want to give you a quick little rundown about what Let's Walk is. Some of you already know about it. I'm a physical therapist. I've practiced in the Charleston area for 30 years. 25 of that was doing home health care, and then I've been doing Let's Walk for 4 years. So we have developed a chapter here on Folly Beach, and we have 9 people that are assessed and participating for our walkers, and we have 10 people that are volunteering with them. And they've completed over 1,200 walks, or I'm sorry, 120 walks, not 1,200 walks. So that'll be great. That'll be next year. So we assess everybody that participates. A licensed therapist comes out and checks them out to make sure they're safe, tell them how far they can walk. And then we pair them with a trained background check volunteer, which we have a bunch here in the room right now tonight. So we are making good use of the funds that you've given us. Skip gave us some and Captain gave us some, and we really appreciate that. We've also submitted our grant request to the council in the past, and we'll do that again next year. But we would love to have the opportunity to reach more of the seniors that are here on the island. And we'll need extra assistance to help us fund that need, because we have a huge group of tasks that we do daily in the office that makes all of this possible. So thank you so very much, and wear that hat with pride.
I hate it when you look directly at me and say,
I know,
reach
you're right
seniors,
there.
reach seniors.
Hey, I qualify as a senior too, so yeah.
I have a walk-in partner, and he makes me walk twice a day, whether I want to or not.
Furry and short legs?
Yeah.
Nice. Those are good, but not everybody has one.
He runs with the golf
Thank you so
cart.
much, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Lynn.
Just real quick,
We were talking about community events. This Thursday is the 1-year anniversary for the Mahjong group that just got started a year ago. I want to thank Mary and Heather for their getting that going. And I think it exemplifies what we're trying to do with these community events. It started with a small group. Now you've got people going to people's houses. You've got people making connections that they never had. So, and you've also turned my wife into a Mahjong addict. So there is that. But yeah, thank you all for coming out tonight. It's just always good to see the community support.
So she has hope of retirement of being a Mahjong.
That's it. That's it.
I only got one comment to make. This is an official meeting. Jimmy, put your shoes on. All right, we're done. Have a motion to adjourn?